Tigers. This story today is called Jamaica's Blue Marker. This is written by Juanita Havill and illustrated by Anne Sibley O'Brian. This is read with permission from Houghton Mifflin Harcourt Books. Jamaica's Blue Marker. In this story, I want you guys to be thinking about the author's message, and I want you guys to be thinking about how the characters are changing in this text. They're going to change some. The main characters are this little girl here named Jamaica, and this little boy is in her class. They're going to change throughout the story. Jamaica closed her eyes and thought about her picture. Mrs. Worth always said to think first and then draw. Jamaica opened her eyes and drew a tree on her big sheet of paper. Then she drew leaves falling off the tree and colored them yellow. Jamaica, Mrs. Worth said, could you please share your markers with Russell? He doesn't have any. He never had anything he needs, Jamaica thought, but she said, okay, even though she didn't want to share her markers with him. Russell brought his paper to Jamaica's table. He sat down beside her and grabbed her blue marker. Jamaica picked up her brown and orange markers to finish her picture. She didn't pay attention to Russell. After a while, she peeked at his paper. Russell was making squiggly lines all over his page. We're supposed to draw a fall picture, Russell, Jamaica said. What kind of character is Russell? Jamaica seems very friendly. She loaned out her stuff, but Russell seems to not follow the directions. Who says? Mrs. Worth. Don't you even listen? I don't have to. Russell reached out with the blue marker and made a streak across Jamaica's picture. Russell, stop! Jamaica shouted. But Russell scribbled all over Jamaica's yellow-leafed tree. He's not being very kind. Jamaica is upset with him. So think about the characters, the way they're acting. They're going to change in this story. Mrs. Worth, Jamaica cried, Russell wrecked my picture. Mrs. Worth hurried over to the table. Russell, did you do this? She held up Jamaica's picture. Mrs. Worth couldn't get Russell to say, I'm sorry. He had to sit alone and work on spelling until art was over. Think about what kind of characters they are. Think about how he's treating Jamaica and how she's treating him. Look what Russell did. Jamaica showed her father and brother when she got home. I tried, but I couldn't make another one as good as this. When she looked at the ugly blue squiggles, she had to swallow hard not to cry. Russell is a mean brat. Did you tell Mrs. Worth what happened? Her father asked. Jamaica nodded. Russell can't use my markers again. I shared with him because he didn't have any. He never has what he needs. But that's no reason to be mean. No, said her father. Russell shouldn't have messed up your picture. The next time they had art, Jamaica was glad Russell didn't sit at her table. Then he couldn't bother her, and she didn't have to share her markers with him either. But at recess, Russell threw sand at her and chased 2 second-grade girls, so he had to go to the office. Before he came back, Mrs. Worth said, I would like to tell you all something. Can you keep a secret? Yes, Jamaica shouted with her classmates. We're going to have a going-away party for Russell on Friday. His father has a new job in another town. They will be moving over the weekend. I thought that you might like to make cards to say goodbye, and then Russell will have something to remember us by. Now, Russell's not being very kind to Jamaica, probably not to the other kids. We need to think about what Jamaica's doing. So our teacher asked her to make a goodbye card. Mrs. Worth passed out the paper. Then she showed everyone how to fold the paper into a card. Jamaica didn't want to make a card for Russell. She was glad he was moving. Then he wouldn't bother her anymore. She put the paper in his desk. Is Jamaica being very kind now? She's mad at Russell and not treating him the way that she would want to be treated. She's not being very kind, even though he's not very nice to her. You always need to treat people the way you want to be treated. At supper, Jamaica said, I like living here. I like my house and my room and the tree in the front yard. I like my school too. I'm glad you do, her mother said. I wouldn't want to move. Who said anything about moving? Ossie asked. Ossie's her brother. Russell is moving, Jamaica said. Lucky you. He won't mess up your pictures anymore, Ossie said. I wonder how Russell feels about moving, Dad said. He might be upset. Has he talked about it? Russell doesn't say anything. He just gets in trouble, Jamaica says. Russell didn't come to the classroom on Friday morning. He was with his mother in the office. Jamaica looked at his empty desk. Next week, Russell will be gone. He won't be at his desk ever again. She decided to make a card for Russell. She got out the blank card and her markers. So now she's starting to figure out how Russell might be feeling. Looking at his desk, he's never going to get to sit there again. When she was at her own house, she was thinking about how he wouldn't be able to be at his own house anymore, so she's starting to kind of feel bad. But then Mrs. Worth asked, "Who are my helpers this week?" Jamaica raised her hand. "Jamaica, could you collect the cards and put them in Russell's desk? Brianna and Thomas, I'd like for you to clear the activity table for the plates and cups." Jamaica went from desk to pick up the cards. She put the whole stack on Russell's desks, and then she closed his desk. Russell came in with his mother. So did she end up getting a chance to make a card for him? The party started. They played games for a while and ate cake. Russell opened his desk and took out all the cards. "Look, Mom, everybody made a card for me." Not everybody, Jamaica thought. She took the blue marker out of her marker bag, and then she ran up to Russell. "This is for you, Russell." She handed him the marker. "You can use it at your new school." So she couldn't make him a card, but she gave him the marker that he was missing. "But you might need it," he said. "You like to draw. You draw the best pictures in the class. What if you have to color the sky? Someone will share with me." "Thanks," he said. "You're lucky. You get to stay here." Now Jamaica knew how Russell felt about moving. "I wish you didn't have to move," she said. Now she's feeling sorry for him. She knows how he feels. That's empathy, when you can feel the same feeling that somebody else has. When Jamaica waved goodbye to Russell, she noticed that his mother was carrying his goodbye cards. Russell held up the blue marker and waved it at her like he'd won a prize. "Goodbye, Russell. I'll miss you," Jamaica said, and she meant it. Now these two characters are friendly with each other. Think about how these characters changed and why. I think Jamaica started to feel sorry for Russell because she didn't want to move. So she started to be kind to him. And that change made him be kind to her. So the characters changed. Now what do you think the author wants you to learn from this text? Remember, we talked about at the beginning where she is not treating Russell the way she wanted to be treated. But at the end, she changed her mind. So I think the author wants you to learn that, or wants you to, the message is to treat people the way you want to be treated in this text. I'll see you guys next time.